What's going on? Welcome into TFEs podcast alongside my husband, Dalen Kelsey Riggs Cuff, hanging out in our fuzzy furry chairs and my fuzzy furry new jacket.
Yeah, looks great.
Do I look like a teddy bear?
Absolutely. I just want to hug you, babe. It's a big teddy bear. It's also actually a perfectly proportioned teddy bear. Perfectly proportioned teddy bear.
Be careful with the words you choose. This was a Christmas present for my sister Chandler to me and my other sister.
What does it say? I can't read it.
It says The Bar. It's this influencer out of New York, Bridget, started this with her husband. I'm sure I've shared her stuff with you. She actually, I think it was during IVF, found out that she had breast cancer and was diagnosed and has really publicly shared her diagnosis and then basically everything that she had to go through throughout the process of trying to beat cancer. So my sister has followed along. I followed along as well and knew her before, but didn't have anything from the brand. So excited to be repping The Bar today.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And I did not know that story. And I don't, did you, was this on Christmas you opened this? Did I miss this
Yeah, you didn't see this? This is a hard thing to miss.
This is a part of the problem with how you guys do your gift opening. It's just a melee. I suggested at 8:18 p.m., why don't we have each person open one gift at a time? It's Christmas night. Let's sit around. We have nowhere to go.
We kind of did that.
No. After 4 minutes and 2 gifts opened, you said, this is going to take forever. And then the chaos ensued and people just ripped through stuff. So yeah, I had no idea you got that. That's the point of getting it. Hold on. This is the point of doing it in this adult manner when we have nowhere to go and to connect with people. There's a story behind that.
Yeah.
There's a reason she got that for you. It is meaningful beyond just the sweatshirt. And I didn't know that because we're tearing that open and knives are being opened.
Wrong.
Other stuff's being opened. Yes.
I just realized, you didn't realize that I got this because Bree, Chan, and I exchanged a couple gifts while you and Dad and Sean were outside cooking.
Oh, well, okay.
So now that I think about it, that's why you missed this.
That said, I don't know what else you got in that time when we were all together either. I don't know what anybody got.
I do. You weren't paying enough attention.
That's not true. I'm looking around. My head's on a swivel. I'm trying to understand. Max is literally catching trash paper, throwing it to the side.
You'll be better prepared for the chaos next time. Thrive through it.
But that's not fun. We're not sharing the moment.
It wasn't. It was not that chaotic. We were sharing the moment. We were like stopping. This is what Sean got. That's not your new water bottles that are so great. Everybody saw. That was because my husband drinks out of the same water for 1 month at a time.
Not the same bottle. Yeah,
same
more
bottle.
Than a month. Can I be a little bit of a conservationist? I know you like to throw everything away, but this is useful.
How many times do you wash that one bottle in the month?
That's a different question.
That's
a totally different question.
It's so gross.
That said, no, you're not. It's not at all like the first 2 gifts opened were literally like everybody taking it one at a time, and then you shot that to hell, and then just.
I disagree. I do not think that's how it works.
It's like if I don't know what people got, yes, it is. If Max is literally catching different trash from different people, that's exactly what it is. It lasted like 10, 15 minutes.
I bet I can name almost everything everyone got.
Because you bought it and other people bought it. For those of us that have no clue what was bought for them or for other people, it's all new to us.
Well,
so I'm looking. Is every dude there?
You'll just continue, I guess, to explore our new gifts as you see them pop up.
I hope to maybe at one point impart that on your family, that we can sit there with nothing to do and just enjoy each other's company. And
I don't think anybody was rushing. You make it seem like everybody was hurrying to get it over, and we didn't.
You literally said this will take forever. We don't have time for this. It'll take forever. It was 8:18. We had nowhere to go.
And we still had nowhere to go. We played games after that. We had to do everything.
We got to do everything. Well, we could have played games still, and I could have understood it all what your dad got or your mom got.
Well, I'll run it back for you because I know what was all there. I saw everybody open it. I don't even know how we went down that path because that wasn't where we were supposed to go at all. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, obviously the name of the podcast, the goal that we have here and have tried to build through our relationship, sharing our thoughts, our feelings, emotions, slowing down, thinking through those things. So first, besides that I went too fast for you on Christmas, what are your
Clearly I was harboring that.
Thoughts, feelings,
I didn't think
emotions
I was, but
off
I was.
The top?
Well, because it's a good story. That was an impactful, interesting story about your sweatshirt that I had no idea. So, granted, they were 2 different occasions by which it happened, but good. I always go first. You go first.
What?
Yeah, I feel like I always do when you do them off the top, I feel like I'll go, and I go forever. So I'd like you to go first because maybe we can focus on you for a minute. I've been talking a lot.
Thoughts, a little annoyed that you just were so. weird about that.
I wasn't weird. I just said
I'll go thoughts. I'm going now. You don't get to. You don't like them, so now you want to go first.
What do you mean? I don't like mine?
No. You didn't like that where I was starting with mine. So you're like, fine, I'll go. No, I got it. Thoughts are. I haven't packed. I'm leaving in 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. You act like that's abnormal, but continue.
I'm so happy my mom's here.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking forward to the trip and then looking forward to this weekend as well. Feelings are just gratitude. I'm grateful, that my mom was able to fly up this week and help us out. We're both working. She got to have really awesome quality time with Lyra and Dace last night. It's going to get to have a lot of time with you and Dace over the next couple of days while I'm gone, and then keep Dace for us as well while you're working. And so just grateful, especially for not just for her coming up, but that was how my childhood was. My parents are small business owners. They've worked really, really hard for everything they've had, everything they've built. But through that, they also had the ability to be flexible. If they needed to be there for us at school or an after school activity or take us somewhere or whatever it was, they were able to be flexible. And I know that wasn't easy, now that I'm an adult, know how hard things are. But I am just so grateful that they had and have the ability to do that. And I can't wait until they retire and move up here. That's not happening.
We're pitching it quite a bit.
Pitching
it quite a bit.
Emotions. I think the other thought is Dace did his first swim class this morning. That was really fun and exciting and scary at the same time because I grew up around the water. My parents have a pool. I grew up on the beach. We have the beach right here. You just have a different feeling about the water when you're a parent, especially of a little baby human that doesn't understand it. So I'm excited that he's starting these swim classes and look forward to him learning more. And then I guess other emotions are, we got to celebrate our anniversary on Monday. So that was and is really special. You and I will get some time alone this weekend while Mom's here as well and do a little trip to New York. But Monday was special too, because I think we took a different approach that was really cool of this is, and I've seen other people do it, you celebrate your family. This is 1 year of family, 2 years, whether we had kids, obviously we had 2 kids then, but people that have done it from the beginning, because that's when your family started technically when you get married. So I thought that was really special and fun to get to celebrate with the kids and walk to the beach where we got married. I just am grateful for you and the last year and, looking ahead and all that we've been through and then all that, I hope the future holds for us.
Can I ask you a question about that? You just said something really interesting. You said a couple of things are pretty interesting. But one, you said that you feel like family begins when we're married. I thought that was interesting because obviously we had Dace before we were married for obvious reasons. And Lyra came into your life and your family's life before Dace was born. Remember the first time they came up here for the baby shower and Lyra meeting them all and playing with them and learning about them. That's when I feel like our family kind of started. I think that's interesting, but you kind of denoted by the wedding is the different stage. Well, it's a different stage, but I think
it's different. Obviously when we have a baby together, that's a family. And when you have a daughter before and I get to meet her and we develop a relationship, we become a family. And obviously, May 26th, 2024 will be the day that we had Dace, and that's always a family. But if you put an official date on it, Dace can be the official date, but even with that, that's not really the official date because obviously, you had Lyra already. And so I think it just is a cool thing that as much as that moment is and anniversaries are about us, what comes from us is a family. And that's something that I think gets to be celebrated every year with us as well, because without us, there is no bigger us, there is no bigger family. And so I just think it's I don't think that it's necessarily we weren't a family until then, but technically on paper, then that was where our 2 families, us and Dace, and then Lyra technically with me, officially became a family.
Okay. I think it's, I mean, what was cool about that too is we got, obviously they were there at the wedding. So like that's part of like, I mean, if in your context of like, that's kind of the official like start, they will always be there. It's not like they were always part of it. We got to go down to the beach and take a picture together, which was really cool of us where we got married last year, and see how different Dace looks. And I love that picture you found where Lyra is like giddily looking through her flowers, trying to find the, like, just more flowers to throw as we were like, just to celebrate. Really is one of my favorite pictures. Like, I need to have that. Like, we need to print that one. That was pretty cool.
And chaos all around. Dace, you can barely see him. He's so bundled up and sick and cold. And I think Chandler and Brian are behind us and we're kissing. And yeah, it's good. It's a really good picture.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So again, maybe I was harboring resentment about the gifts, but maybe I had you go first to help me. I think what's different, what's interesting about TFEs and us doing this is I feel like I came in really scattered, and listening to you go through your thoughts, feelings, and emotions like grounds me, makes me pay attention to you, makes it slow down. As you said at the beginning of the pod already, you said like to slow down and to think about it. You going through that actually just helped me like reset and not be as frantic, because I think my thoughts coming in were, I was like a hamster on a wheel. It was like, all right, well, we got this to do later and this to do then, and I just put Lumify in my eyes. Is that product the greatest product of all time that also is going to make us blind in like 2 years? Like, how can my eyes go from bloodshot red to crystal clear?
It's a good way to get a sponsorship.
And exactly, it's the greatest product ever in like 10 seconds. It's an unbelievable product, but I don't know how this can be healthy, but it's an unreal product. Like that's what I literally put my ass in the seat thinking that, and other random stuff. But listening to you put us back into like a bigger, like more important context. So I guess in that thought, just listening to you really kind of grounded us in what this week kind of is for our family and for us. And to have your mom, to be able to celebrate it as our family on Monday, and then have her be able to be here and enjoy the family time she gets with Lyra and with Dace. And then allows us to also have our own time on Friday. Gratitude is the feeling that kind of wafted over me as you said the same thing. I was like, man, it is hard not having family right here. But it is really special to be like 8 days out or 5 days out or 3, whatever you said it to your mom. We want to come up here next week as kind of like a joke, or she said it kind of like a joke, and then it became real. And next thing you know, a flight was booked. Mm-hmm. Like, that's pretty cool. And that's really impactful. And I think very grateful for that and for them being part of their life. And then to see her and Lyra interact. Lyra gets so excited when she gets to see anybody in your family, whether it's on the phone or it's in person. And my family too, but they're just not up here as much. Mm-hmm. It's just doesn't happen. And I think partially because what you mentioned about them being small business owners and their ability to have a little flexibility. And when they're having flexibility, though, they are sacrificing their job or their productivity, aka their bottom line, for us, and really appreciate that and grateful for that. So
shout out Charleston Postcard Company if you need any Charleston souvenirs.
There you go, Charleston Postcard Company. Let them know. Good hats too. Great hats to golf in. And I think emotions now, I feel like more settled. Definitely more than I was 8 minutes ago. So thank you for that. And I'm excited about like the week ahead. It's weird that like I am excited for tomorrow. And you mentioned me and your mom and Dace will be here. You'll be gone. But like Thursday is a day on my calendar right now. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have nothing to do on air. I have a bunch of things that have to get done. But it's like, oh, I'm really excited to kind of slow down on Thursday. But then you're not here. And part of our like challenge and our dynamic is like days that both of us have where it's like you could slow down. The other one is rarely ever there. And that's just how things fall. So I'm really excited for Friday for you to 12:57 p.m. your flight lands. Not that I know the exact minute.
It's funny that you do and I don't.
Well, that's how our brains work. There you go. But I'm very excited. I'll be at the airport to pick you up and ready to go. And so I'm excited for the next couple days and even the weekend. I think there's like it was a really good way to. I think this is always going to be special to start our year, because it's always like when you come through the holidays. My mom's birthday is the 2nd, and that usually is the day that's like, all right, here we go. Like that's the long slog through the rest of the winter that we begin. But having now the 5th be a special day for us and kind of like that, reflective, but also excited about the future is a nice kind of reset to like usher in the new year.
I agree. I mean, it's hard because it's not a time where we, with our schedules, can
do anything,
plan a whole lot. So maybe we get 2 anniversaries a year, or when we do our bigger wedding down the road, we'll pick A date that.
Well, let me amend that.
A little better.
Can I amend that real quick?
Sure.
Because right now, in our schedules currently, in our life currently.
Yeah.
But in 2 years or 3 years, who knows? And then if we prioritize, like, hey, this is what we want to do around our anniversary, then we go do that. So
yeah.
That would be special.
Yes, I do think that would be special. I also think it's interesting. I don't want to like skip by what you said, because the fact that like us sitting down and doing this and me sharing my TFEs and being open and vulnerable and just thinking through things and processing it, that it helps ground you, I think is really cool and special. I feel like that's part of the power of this, is like we get so lost in the checklist, the whatever's next, the what happened, where are we going, what do we have to do, that you kind of get lost in the moment sometimes. And I hadn't sat here and said, what am I going to say for my TFEs? Because I don't do that. I don't think how they work. I think you just have to kind of sit and reflect. And the fact that like me sitting, slowing down and reflecting also creates space and the ability for you to do it, I feel like is really powerful, and vice versa. Because I know I feel the same way too. Yeah,
I think I think I've recognized that before, but I like felt it in this moment, because I obviously made you go first and flip the tables on you, which you didn't like, but then I did. So that I didn't know I'd like it, but I didn't recognize the actual like physical. It was like I kind of like settled in, like my body, like everything kind of like, and I like locked into what you were saying. Which it's not that I don't like it. It's like the thing where it's like, hey, what do you want to do? And I make a plan, and then you're like, no, that doesn't make sense, or we need to do it this way. So when it's like, oh no, you lead the podcast, I'm like, okay, what's your TFEs? And then you flip it and you're like, no, what's yours? I'm like, well, I feel like I go first a lot. So I was like, all right, well, you go first. That's kind of what it's like. It's kind of what it's like. Well, sometimes your plans don't make any sense. So it's like, usually they do. I like your input, but maybe they just don't always come together the way that you necessarily think. Maybe. They involve logistics and like actual directions. They don't usually come together. So that's different. We have, I think, a couple of things to talk about today. You brought up something. I had another thought too that I hadn't really necessarily even brought up to you. I was thinking about it on the drive home last night. Because when you're staring in silence. I drive home from work like a serial killer with no music, no podcast, just raw dog in the hour drive home. An hour raw dog through the mountains of Connecticut, just down to the coast. Just raw dog in that ride. You are straight ahead, just psychopath. My brain just like unwinds. Sometimes it winds up more. It takes me in different places. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I've never seen it unwind. Is this we're gonna get to one of those right now? I've only seen it wind up to the point where I'm getting calls or texts or whatever as you're winding your way home. That's usually on the way to work. On the way home from work, I don't usually call you. I call you when I leave, and that's it. Yeah. Anyways, I was raw dogging my ride home, and just thinking, and one of the things that came to my mind is that whether good things are happening or bad things are happening in our life, we are always like one moment away from whatever's next. So if you're riding the highest of highs, the reality is that's still fleeting. Doesn't mean that a higher high can't come next, but that's temporary. Mm-hmm. When Dace does something new and cool and I'm so excited about it, or when we have this moment, it's like all of those things end, and then it makes space for something else, good, bad, and different. And the same thing with hard times, that when you're in the middle of a hard time, you're always still on the cusp of whatever is next, because you know that hard is temporary. Now it can get harder, or it can get easier. And it's something that I like know, and it's obvious, but for whatever reason on that ride home last night, it just hit me harder that like, you know, I don't want to feel stuck, and I don't want to feel stuck in the hard, and I don't want to feel just completely like satisfied and complacent in the good, because we're like always on the brink of whatever comes next. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things that come to mind there. There's like one, it's like the athlete thing always, you know, never get too high, never get too low. Like game to game, there has to be like a steady approach to things, because to your point, whether it's the next game, the next day in life, the next challenge, like life is a roller coaster ride. There's going to be the ups and downs. I think the other part of it was just the understanding that, how do I word this? without the, what is that phrase? Without the bad or the hard, the good won't feel as good. Like we need those dynamics in life to kind of feel all the emotions and to actually like live life to its fullest, which is kind of weird, but also kind of sad and true that like you need to have the bad to understand and appreciate the good. But also knowing that that's part of why, I mean, in the recent years we've talked about, or I've understood more about like gratitude, because the good isn't always there. And if you don't appreciate it when it's there, you're missing out on some of life and some of emotions and some of the reflections or appreciation of what you're experiencing or what is quote unquote good or makes you happy or what joy you find. So yeah, I think there's it's important to remind ourselves of that, because I do think you can have, at least I can, a more like pessimistic view sometimes. Like, you know, this too shall pass is real. And your point is this too shall pass negatively and positively, which is unfortunately true, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's part of parenting that like maybe made me think of it too. It's work, it's life, it's all of the things, but because like the good sweet moments, like they're only this age for so long. I'll save that for later, because for the good before we go, this Instagram that I saw, but it has to do with basically like this moment in time that we're at right now. It's only for right now. These people, this place, all of these things, like we only get this moment, this second, this experience once, because even if you get the same experience, something about it is different. Something in your life has changed, whether it's your perspective or the people that are there. So I don't know. It's just something that I felt like helped ground me a little bit more when I was raw dogging my ride home last night.
You love saying that. It's funny you mentioned this, because I said this last week to you about, I don't know if I was on the pod or not, but we were talking about like some of my buddies I've known for 20 years, 25 years, and lived with Marcus and Brian and Porter, all these guys in our mid 20s. And they were trying to figure out where we lived and what times and whatever. And I definitely didn't understand gratitude then. Like that level of lack of responsibility, but also sharing your friendships, like being with your boys all the time and having all these memories and all these moments. And there was no, like, never did I stop to look around and be like, this is really cool. And this is never going to happen again. Like, this will never happen, to your point. And I do think that is the biggest change in my life now versus even 5 years ago, is like the looking around and be like, appreciate what you have gratitude for what you have. And to your point, and I don't necessarily think I do this enough, that this moment won't look the same ever again. Whether it was the Christmas we just had or just yesterday or whatever it is, that moment won't look the same. And I don't think I spend not much time grasping it. I think I have a time appreciating when things happen, but not understanding, well, when it happens again, what will be different? And or something like it will be different. It's
a little sad in a way.
I got a little bummed out thinking about my buddies the other day. It's being like, man, I wish I would have looked around and been like, dude, this is really cool. And actually maybe told them how I felt about them ever. Never did that. That was never going to happen. But when you look back,
never too late now.
Well, now I think it's different. We do express some of that stuff now, at least in sometimes in our own guy way, but also in a real way too. In a real and explicit way, it comes through, but maybe not as much as it should. And I do think that that's because we will always talk and we try to catch. It's just so hard to ever align anybody's life again. Whereas literally, I woke up in a room next to one of the three of them for 4 years, and for Porter for 8 years. So we had 3 years in college. So it's like that stuff is never going to happen again. I think college is different because people tell you all the time, greatest 4 years of your life, goes by so fast, blah blah blah. That's kind of true with everything. And especially if you have like an extended college, which I did, with more like in your 20s with a lot of the same people, living a life where you go to a job you don't really care about and you just hang out and you meet new people and have fun. Like there were moments and things were formed then and you just didn't understand it. And I think even through my beginning of my 30s, just never took that time to do it, or even had the mental capacity to understand, or emotional capacity is probably more important to understand it.
Because you have to experience life to get that, which is like what's crazy. Like, yeah. I mean, you don't have that perspective. It doesn't matter how many people tell you it matters, or how many people tell you to do things differently, or how many people tell you that problem that you're upset about when, you know, you're a freshman in college won't be a problem that you think about in the future, until you are on the other side of that and you've experienced all these different things in life. Do you actually have that perspective? So it's interesting when you look back on it.
It's funny you say that. I mean, I've said before, like, I feel like my 20s were the era where, like, I thought I knew everything, didn't know shit. The 30s were like, oh, you actually don't know shit. And the 40s, like, okay, you don't know anything. What can you figure out? What can you deduce from these life experiences and what you want things to be? But it's like this slow awakening, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So that was kind of where my thought went.
Before you change subject, I have to interject here real quick. And I don't know if the audience cares about this or not, but you just bumped yourself with the microphone. You said, oh man. You have our son saying, oh gosh, 5,000 times a day. He sounds like a complete nerd, first of all, and or goofy without the oh gosh. Like he's pretty close to goofy. It's just like he'll be in his bed, just repeat, oh gosh.
That's
like
what
oh gosh. What are you panicking about?
Oh gosh.
What are you panicking about? Like what's going on in your little brain?
I didn't even know that I said it.
Oh my god.
Until he started parodying it all the time. And I think I asked you one time, I'm like, did he just say, oh gosh, where did you get that? And you're like, he got it from you. You say it. It's like when he first started drinking and he would take a sip of his water or milk or something, and then you go, ah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Why does he do that?
There you go.
Why does he do it?
You.
It's funny that they like. I didn't even. Why do I say, oh gosh? Did you know that I said it before Day started saying it all the time?
I think you say it around him instead. Like I mean, I guess you've said it before, but obviously, I think I've become in tune to you saying it with him around. Like when something goes wrong, and he repeats it in panic mode, which is just awesome. Oh gosh.
No, but he doesn't panic about it. He just says it. He'll like drop something and be like, oh gosh, or he'll bend over and be like, oh gosh.
No, sometimes he'll repeat it like 5 times. Like if something fell, oh gosh. He's laying in bed, feet in the air, kicking stuff. Oh gosh. Like, bro, relax.
There's worse things that he could repeat that we say.
Which is worse? I think I do a pretty good job of self-editing, but now we got to be hyper. We got to be hyper.
He's trying to say everything right now. Yeah. So, oh gosh, watch what you say.
Oh gosh. I'm here plugging a bunch of products today. Apparently, in what I want to talk about. Already hit the Lumify piece of it. This Tony box thing you got for Days is awesome. And I had never seen this thing. I think you sent it to me sometime in November maybe. And I was like, it's cool, but I didn't really fully grasp what was going on. If people don't know, it's this little box that these two guys invented, and it's a multi-billion-dollar company, but it's super cool because it takes like any one of these, characters, you could plop them right on there, and it plays anywhere from 30 up to 90 minutes of content. Mm-hmm. It tells stories. So there's a Mickey Mouse one, we got a Little Mermaid one, you got a Thomas the Train. So you can tell stories, some of it's songs.
I know you're not going to forget Elmo.
Elmo, of course. A lot of Elmo. Dude's obsessed with Elmo.
That's what we're hearing right now.
A lot of Elmo. But it's songs, it's stories. Again, it's taking away the screen time. And it's allowing him to interact and sit there and listen and still be engaged in something. And have the ability to change. I think it's really cool to have the agency because he has now, the other part that's really cool that's been special is you can buy the blank characters, essentially. They're little figurines that stick on there. Technology of it, I haven't looked up. I'm pretty sure it's an RFID chip. I don't know. I want to figure it out because it kind of amazes me because it knows and recognizes whatever one you plop down on it. They have these other ones that are blank that you can record.
It's a create your own Tony.
Yeah, create your own Tony. And you did it. You had one with your 97 and 96-year-old, or soon to be both 97-year-old grandparents. One with your dad, who we call.
We'll back up. The one with so we got all these blank ones, the create your own. And for Christmas,
you really have endless gifts. You want to tell the whole thing? Go ahead.
Well, you're not making it make sense. You're just like, oh, here's this blank one, and there's a 97-year-old grandma in there. How does that happen?
I said you can record your own, but go ahead, explain.
Yeah, so we gave all of our family members who we don't live by, which is all of them, all of them back home in my parents, and then not just my parents, my sisters, and then my grandparents who we saw. And then Lyra did one, and then we have one for your mom and Fred as well for them to be able to record and talk to Dace. So they can record from their phone, send us the recording. We put it on, it's like our little statue here. You put it on, I upload it through the phone. Dace puts the little thing onto the Tony box, and whatever the person is starts talking to him. Yeah. And he's had mixed emotions about it at first.
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, he the agency by which he can change and take who he wants and listens to who he wants. But your dad's one has they have a special relationship clearly, but it makes him sad because your dad's voice.
He's better now. I think.
But at first, when he first heard it, when we got home, he just broke down in tears. And it was super sad.
Cry I had never heard before, too. The type of cry.
It was a longing, painful cry. He was emotionally hurt, and he was like, "Why is he not here? I hear his voice." And because I think your dad's voice breaks a little bit in it, I wish I was there. And, and he gets that's when he loses it at the same spot almost every time. Now he's gotten better in the last couple of days. But what had me thinking about this like awesome little invention is because we are just inundated with the screens and with the video. As I say this with 3 different cameras on us right now to do this show, like we have videos and pictures, and we have so many things that have captured these moments, these special moments in our life. But it's like a passive engagement. You look at the photo, you look at the video especially, and you're like listening and looking, and all the senses are engaged. The cool thing about this, Tony, where it's taking away the screen and how we live in the world, it's making us, kind of what you said earlier, it makes you stop and slow down. Because to listen to something a lot of times, then your brain is engaged and imagining the person, or if it's telling you the story, the setting of the story. But with the person especially, it's imagining the person and where they may be or where they're sitting, and really taking in the words that they're saying. And the spoken word is not like, we talk so much in our society. I mean, you talk for a living. But there's always this other stuff. There's always other stimulus. It's like going back to like the days of radio where you just turn something on, you had to listen and create it in your head. And what's cool about that with these personal things, and it's also a little what you said earlier, is like those recordings now, like granted, you can add more stuff to it, which is really cool. But that first recording, as he gets older, I'm sure you'll remember like Grumpy's voice at that time, at this moment in his life, and like what that was like. And sometimes we can tell him, hey, it was just after Christmas, it was your second Christmas, and blah blah blah. But that recording will always be there with that moment in time and what that means for him. And I think his ability to, like all of ours, like ability to listen to the people especially that we love that are no longer here, and be able to hear their voice and think about them in a certain mind frame too. Because I think those of you lost, and if you go through disease and a painful loss, you don't necessarily want to remember them at the end. Mm-hmm. You want to remember them prior to those last moments, you know? And if you can hear the voice too, that can put you into a place where you can stop and settle and think and have that image of them, where they were, what they looked like, what you were feeling as you heard those words, no matter how many times you play them. I just think that like the spoken word is a special connection with our like hearts and minds that doesn't get exercised as much anymore because there's always other stimulus. And obviously that made me think of my dad. Like I would kill to hear his voice in that element, because we have like home videos and stuff, and we've told you about them. They're in the attic. I should probably find them, and it'd be cool to like show Lyra some of these things now that she's older. And we'll do that. But again, I think she'll think it's so crazy to like sit there and look and see me as a kid and a grandfather she's never met and all these different things, which is awesome. But the difference for me is like I can see those videos, but to hear his voice and just his voice and to feel it, I think feels differently. And I'll never have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's powerful for a lot of reasons. I think the first one we recorded for Dace was my mom and papa, who, as you said, are 96 and 97. And that one hit me hard, Dace listening to that. And he listened to it when we got home to mom and dad's from my mom and papa's that night. And it's exactly what you said. There's, we know that we all have a limited amount of time on earth. And I think about, after people have lost, you go through old videos or you go through old voicemails so you can hear them say your name, or so you can hear them say goodbye, or things like that. And I thought, obviously, with Mama and Papa had just gotten out of the hospital and had some health issues, and Mama was coming down with a cold and not feeling great. I thought, like, how special, even though it's this 45-second thing, that Dace will always have this recording of their voice talking to him forever. Yeah. That's so cool. And so it was cool with them. It's obviously like hit him, Dace, differently with Dad's voice and realizing he wasn't here. Mom already did hers. She had the cat on hers too, which I obviously loved. Little Toby purring. Mm-hmm. And then my sisters are going to do them. Your mom's going to do them. I'm sure we'll think of more. And then Lyra just did one. Yeah. And that one was like super special. Mom sent it to me while I was at work last night. Because Lyra, we just found the Tony, so she wanted to record hers. It's like the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. I've only heard it 142 times this morning since she went to school, because that's when she wanted Dace to listen to it after she left, and he has listened to it 142 times since 8:30 this morning. But we've talked a lot about like how as he gets older, the first thing he said to you this morning when he woke up was Sissy. Because he like does his check-in. If I'm in there, he's like, Daddy, Daddy's here. Sissy is or isn't here. And now that it like doesn't take the place of that person, but it does, it makes you like access, I feel like, a different part of your, not just like your brain, but your heart and your emotion to like just hear the voice and have to connect with that person in a different way than, visually or physically. It engages you differently. Even with him, he'll just sit there, literally just sit there and listen to it, whether it's Lyra, Dad, Mom, or Elmo that he's listening to. I'm just thinking more about like what is it that makes the power of voice such a different and powerful medium versus just watching somebody.
I think if it's somewhat like when people have said that, like when you're blind, if you lose a sense, the other senses grow stronger, and your hearing grows stronger if you're blind, and vice versa. I think with this, like we get inundated with so much. Like when was the last time I just like sat there and listened to music, which I did in my younger years, like when I was 13 and 20. Like somebody's just in your room.
You're raw dogging it.
Yeah, I don't know much what I was thinking. Well, I was probably thinking about raw dogging it then.
Oh God.
But you're sitting there with your own thoughts, like just staring at a wall or whatever. Like sometimes I lay on my back and just like shoot a basketball in the air and listen to music in my room all the time. So there was those moments are so few and far between now, partially because of how I think our society is structured, by which now if you actually take away all the other stimulus and you're just hearing, I do think your brain and your heart are working at a different level. Like your brain's painting a picture of what you may be seeing or thinking. Like when you mentioned Mama and Papa, like I wasn't there, but right away when I hear their thing every time, I picture them in each one of their chairs, and I don't know them from the younger years. So in my head, this is the image that I have, is sitting in both of their recliners, doing their thing, and your grandmama saying, "Little old Daisy." How she's like the way she said,
watering already.
Well, the way they say it, like I can see them, and I'm feeling them say this, as if I'm there, and I do think that is a special thing that I think with some of these products that people create, the simplicity of it is if you can make us feel like we once felt, like that doesn't feel like the current structure of our lives, I think just touches people differently. And when you can make us feel, for us, like we were little, and for Lyra, like she's never been overstimulated with stuff, where you're just listening. Like she doesn't remember when she was a little kid doing that, but now it's like the first day she saw it, she put on the Dory thing, and Dace didn't take it off. She just sat there and like walked in circles, like looking around. You can see her like little body and brain just working as they're painting this picture of of Nemo and Dory and all this stuff. And it's just different. And I think the way it connects with us is because we lose those other senses. It makes us think and feel more. And when you hear people's voices that you love and you care about and that aren't here, it deepens that. It makes it more impactful. And it does put you in a little place where you're trying to connect with them in some regard by listening to this, and like we feel like you want to be with them, and that also I think makes you feel more too.
It's crazy that even a baby is able to do that. I mean, I know he's not a baby; he's 19 months, and is trying to talk and do all of these things, but that even at his young age, that like the power of a voice has over him, that he can start having the like wheels turn and picture things and be self-entertained for a little dude that's always running around wanting to create chaos, that like a voice, whether it is a character or somebody special in his life, has the ability to like make him slow down and think and imagine, and who knows what else is going on in his head. I wish he could tell us. I can't understand half of what he's trying to tell us.
Don't worry, babe. Just like you want him to walk soon, he'll tell us. He'll be telling us all the things.
He must have told me now his favorite thing, even when I'm just like standing there, we're like walking into the swim class and I'm carrying him and Mom's walking beside me. He's like, "Mama." And I'm like, "Yeah, Dace." And he's just like, looks at me smiling. I'm like, "We're going to swim class. Are you excited?" "Yeah." "Mama." I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, we're going to do it. Aren't you looking forward to it? Are you going to swim?" "No." "Okay, you're going to." "Mama." So some things I do understand and I hear very, very loud and clear and very often right now. But again, like it's all, fleeting for the good or the bad. I think, did we talk about that one day about like, do you remember the last time? And it was this TikTok trend where moms with their like grown sons would be like, I try to like not be emotional saying it. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
It's like moms with their grown sons would be like, I remember the first time you took your first steps. I remember the first time you crawled. I remember the first time you ate solids. I remember your first day of kindergarten. I remember the first time I held you. I remember the first time I put you in your bed. But I don't remember the last time that I held you. Mm. Like all of these first things that we make as like mental milestones, you know, or that are milestones that we make mental notes of are so special because this is the first time you did this, the first time you do this. But like the last time that you have your last bottle, like, do you know, I remember breastfeeding. And when I thought that we were pretty much done because you were feeding bottles upside down, and you thought that was cooler than breastfeeding. I'm like, was that the last time that he breastfeeds? And like, I didn't know. And when was it? And then he did it some more. And I remember trying to think like, okay, is this going to be the last time? Because stuff like that, it's just emotional. So anyways, in this TikTok trend, the mom asks like, can I hold you? To like this grown taller than her son. And so what turns there, you know, like a teenager that's kind of like, okay. Yeah. And then as the mom's holding them, mom's like crying because it's like, I'm soaking in this last time. And then, you know, the son is sweet and like not emotional for the most part, but humorous and takes it in. But like you don't always remember the last times of things because you think that there will be more. Anyways, I thought we had talked about that on here, but you don't know. Not necessarily a bad way either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. The only time I've had that feeling, sadly, was with my dad. Like when he hugged, I felt different. The last time I hugged him and said goodbye, it felt like that was it. And I don't know why. And I didn't think that. It's just once he passed, it was probably 4 days later. Like in my brain, I was like, that felt different. And that was like a retrospective feeling. But it's funny you say that. Obviously, you picture my mom and like my mom like at 5'2" trying to hold me right now. But it's funny you say that because I used to cuddle with my mom. That was part of why our relationship is so close. Like she was the one person I was always comfortable like being emotional with and wanting to hold and to hug and to be around. My other brothers weren't like that, and my sister wasn't like that. So it's different. So I mean, Lord, I don't know if you ask her when the last time. I don't know when that would be. I don't know.
I'm not going to ask her that because she'll cry like I do.
She probably. She'll
be like, yes, tell him to come sit by me and pretend like he's sitting on my lap and let me snuggle him again.
I would break her legs at this point in time. Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. We always catalog the first, but not the last. And as the kids are growing up, it is weird too. The milestone of our lives once you have kids is the kids growing. Like we can remain or somewhat remain the same in terms of our physical attributes, but when you see their change over time, it like helps us mark time and also how fast time goes, which is crazy.
Let me stop you for a second. I don't know where you're going, but I also I had a lot of plans as a new mom with like the baby book and what I was going to document and keep and letters to dates and social media and whatever else, sending stuff to family. It's like, man, I got humbled real fast by what I didn't get done on maternity leave that I thought I was going to do. But I've tried to, go back retroactively and do some stuff with baby book throughout him growing up. I need to actually, I haven't done it in a long time. And different things. The one thing that I still regret because the day was so full of chaos is not writing him a letter on his first birthday because I wanted to do that. I could do that today and be like, hey, I'm writing you this letter and here's what I remember and whatever. I want to do that every year. But as we're talking about the Tony box, I'm like, should we record them voice memos that are like a Tony that they don't listen to, that they just have that one day? Have you ever, sometimes they create an email account for their kids.
Oh yeah.
And then when they turn 18, they're like, I had this for you the whole time. Here's all the letters that I wrote you over all these years. And I love a good love letter. I love a good note. Mm-hmm. Short and sweet, long and I don't know, I guess romancy.
I was going to say long and hard inappropriately, but okay. Go ahead.
That's where my brain went to. No, I'm just kidding.
There we go.
That's why I had to find a different word. Okay. I love a love note, but as we're sitting here talking about like the way that it makes us feel to hear these people in Jace's life, their voices, like, wouldn't that be a cool thing to have and to do, to be able to go back and when they're older, be like, we made these for you, and you hear it versus just reading it?
Yeah. So just like an audio logbook for them, basically, like some sort of, yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, it's basically what we're saying. Cause like I said, I don't know when was the last time I heard my dad's voice. It's, we watched some of those home videos my mom got me them when I was probably 10 years ago. But again, I think that's different than just sitting there and looking and listening. Is different than the visualization of what's going on too in like a video. So I think it's a great idea.
I was just thinking of it as you were talking earlier. I was like, maybe we should do them too. And then like they're, it's not like we listen to them or we listen to each other's. We just like, here's Dace's, here's Lyra's, and we just record things on there. And then one day they can have them all. This
is like Interstellar. Yeah, see, I mean, this is a very
I was thinking the
more
same
complicated
thing.
job. Well, because to be really simplistic at what happens there, Matthew McConaughey and Kate, whatever her name is, they travel really, really far away from the planet. Okay, it's a long story how they got there. I think you should watch the movie because it's really
emotional.
I've seen
it. I just don't remember what happened.
That's the classic Kelsey Riggs cuff line. Okay, I've seen it. I just don't know what happens. Then what were you watching? Why don't you retain no films? No information is retained ever. It's remarkable. And then if we try to watch it again, you just fall asleep. So Interstellar, yes. The only point is they have
my memory, and I'll probably remember.
So no, they have these video like the kids on Earth are making videos for him, but theory of relativity. He's traveling out here, so many light years away. There's years are passing by days or minutes, depending upon what planet he's on or how far he is from the Earth. Long story short, when he can get back and look at some of these videos, and this is a really emotional scene, and apparently he did it on the first take, and he's picturing his kids, but he goes from like his daughter who is like 12 to then the next video he sees, she's like 28. And in his world, it was one day. In the Earth time, it was like 15, 20 years. So it's like he has seen this whole different thing happen, and he's watching these different clips of them evolve. So it's the reverse of the same thing. And now it is a video, but he is seeing and hearing his kids grow up, and he's realizing I've missing their entire life for this mission that I'm on right now. My point is, it's a little reverse, but I would imagine it would be a really impactful thing for them. And on what age we give it to them, or tell them to listen to it, or if they would appreciate it, I don't know. And I don't know if it's a thing you do till I'm on my deathbed, and you tell them then, and then they go through and they hear it all for the next 70 years probably. I'll probably live to about 112.
Thank God.
I hope to make 72.
This man used to be like, I'm going to make it to 68.
I hope I make it to 68.
I hope you make it to 108.
Me too. I hope.
But I'm glad that my point with that is like your hopes have changed.
Great. Hopes have, well, as long as I'm not decrepit. But anyway, when you give it to them, I think it's interesting. Together. Sweet. I think, and whenever you give it to them, I think it's interesting. But I think doing it, like figuring out just how we do it. And to your point, it doesn't be like long and like drawn out different things, but fun story or this happened or whatever is. I imagine that'd be really cool to hear.
You're on board. I'm not surprised. Before we get to the good, before we go, just I'm thinking anniversary wise, is there anything not like surface level, just perspective wise on getting to celebrate a first anniversary and kind of what it's been like and getting to this point and what it means to you on like a deeper level?
That's a good question. I thought about this a little bit the other day, and it was sparked a little bit from what Lyra asked me, and I'm not, this is my second time I've celebrated a first anniversary. The weird part is she asked me do I remember other anniversaries I celebrated?
Well, she said, how many did you remember?
Well, this is how many. But then I was thinking afterwards, the irony of that question is, I remember that first, and I don't remember every subsequent year after that. It was, I think, indicative of some of the problems, which we're not going to get into. The point I'm making here is that I feel like going into my first marriage, there was a thought of, you would hear people say marriage is hard occasionally. It never registered to me, like how challenging marriage can be, and how, who your partner is, how you fit together, how you work, how hard that can be. You introduce children into it, work, all these different things that everybody knows and experiences. I think I had this feeling that it wasn't going to be, it would just be the next stage, and it was fine. And as things really changed and the relationship changed, you realize part of the problem was there was a lack of joy. And when you don't remember ever celebrating, that's reflective of some of the lack of joy. That, well, what did we do? What are we doing here? I think the difference is what I've thought about. Honestly, I thought about day of, and then Lyra when she said that, maybe just, I don't like to compare, but I in this instance I was just being like, getting through having our first year celebration or thinking about it was more about, we saw a lot of hard this year, but it wasn't that we like survived it or we were just can't wait to see what happens next, or it's like we did it together, and it always felt like all the challenges we were approaching was like together, and the joys we had were together, and the sorrows we had were together, and it felt like the difference is like the exciting future that we have together with that foundation of it always being together, which is not anything I've ever felt before. So I would like more obvious joy in our 2026 as we've discussed before, but coming out of the gate and going through a lot together and to build that foundation, and it's always going to be us, and we will figure it out with communication and love and honesty and family first, all these things that matter to both of us. I think is really kind of what I took away from like thinking about our first year together.
I think it was on our anniversary night it was either the night when it was about to be our anniversary and we were still awake at midnight, or it was that night and we were laying in bed talking. And
the night before, it was when midnight hit.
When we were talking about marriage is hard,
mm-hmm.
and we were talking about other people saying that, and marriage isn't easy, obviously, but what I think I said was, it's not that marriage is hard, it's life is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, life is full of twists and turns and ups and downs, and marriage is two completely different people with different minds, different priorities, different upbringings, different lifestyles coming together and choosing each other every single day. And that choice can be hard sometimes, but to me, like, if the first year taught me anything, it was that life can be really hard, but marriage, when you choose right and you choose each other, it doesn't have to be. And that's not to be like, we had such a good marriage, like, oh my God, things are never wrong. But I just feel like I was so grounded and supported by you through all of the highs and the lows, that all it did was like make me, grateful that I found you, and that you are my person, and that I have that, and that I waited to find, the love that I thought was out there. And so it's not to say that like marriage isn't hard, but to me, it's like, it's bigger than that. It's like, life is hard. So if you have a good marriage, it helps soften that hard.
That's what I think you just hit the end of it, was where I kind of got to. I think it was really, when you said that the other night, I was like, yes, that's a really good way of looking at it, because it is, when I was kind of the together I was talking about, but I don't think I articulated well. It's like you're going through the hard, but when you do it as the marriage piece of it makes it more, makes it more palpable to go through it. It makes it more successful. It makes it easier, because you're going through it with somebody to help you. And I do think part of that is, part of how I was wired before, to think that I'm going to solve the problems, or not open up myself, or not have the person with me that will take the vulnerabilities and take the problems or take the challenges and try to make them work better together and help complement me and my shortcomings and different things to help us kind of be better. Honestly, this is funny to say, but better together. Better together.
Combo. Let me ask you this. If there's someone that's listening that's in a relationship that is currently hard, and they feel like they're where you were, like they weren't open, they couldn't talk, they felt stuck, and they want to make that change. But also, it's like, you can want to make that change, but then how is it perceived? And it's like, you're being weird, why are you trying to talk about something? Like, how, in your opinion, obviously therapy, but just like getting to a useful first step of like trying to break down that barrier of whatever it is in your relationship. Because a lot of what you're saying is, because we are so open, because we sit here and do these stupid TFEs and made a whole dang podcast about it because we're so passionate about it, that like helped you and helped us and really helped us through the last year. If there's someone who's never done that, especially from the male perspective, because I feel like that's oftentimes even harder, like, what's that first step towards getting over it? Is it just getting over the fact that like you haven't done this?
No, I think the first step is like, it's like almost like for me, I would say it's almost like alcohol or drugs. It's like admitting there's a problem. Like, I would say, I knew things weren't good. Like, I knew I would be like, I'm unhappy, but then I would never admit that outwardly to anybody. And if you're going through this life with a partner's got to know you're unhappy. And I imagine if you're unhappy, they are probably unhappy too. So you're not hiding it from anybody. So I think the first part would be admitting, I'm not happy. If you want this to work, then it's like, I need help. And it's that part of being saying I need help is there's a vulnerability to that. And I think it's the best way to do it, honestly, is coming to your partner and being like, I'm not happy. I want us to be happy. I want to understand where you are. And I need to, if we want to make this work, I need help getting to where we need to get to. I don't know how to do it. Because again, I'm doing this after having therapy. I've talked with therapists. So I think just saying like, I don't know what I need, but I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I don't want us to live like this anymore. How do you do that? I think that's just coming and saying, you know, I've got an issue. Keep it with me, I think. I have an issue. I'm having problems. I would like to find some help for us and maybe for me individually. And then proceed there. I think the biggest thing is being willing to be vulnerable. And just say like exactly what you're thinking and feeling. And whether that's good or bad. Because if you don't, there's no way to build back whatever relationship you did have, if it was good at one point, or to turn the corner to something positive, I feel like. Because if you're holding anything back, and sometimes because when things are hard or you're not seeing eye to eye, you know, as soon as you say, I have a problem, I've helped, and it becomes like a use, like you're saying, well, you did this, people are getting defensive. Like people's defenses are up. They are harboring resentments, they're harboring anger, they're harboring frustration. When you're not in a happy space, both people are doing this. You may not realize it, but both people are doing it. So I think the way to break it down is to keep it about like yourself, and then ask the questions like, do you feel any of the things that I'm feeling right now? Like, would you like to fix these things too? Like, how would you want to fix these things? And then you're engaging in a dialogue that's open, that's based on, you know, you're coming with all your cards on the table and trying to leave all the baggage, leave all the resentment, leave all the BS, and just be like, if we are supposed to make this work, it's kind of like you're coming to your bear and just be like, can you help fix me?
You know what I think is interesting though is like, I try to put myself in this scenario where if you were to come to me right now and say that, and even if you were like, I feel this and I need this and I want this for us and we, and even if you were coming at it from a place of positivity of like, how do we get to a better place, I would still be terrified hearing those words come out of your mouth. Because you know that it shatters this false whatever you're living in right now. Whatever smile you guys are putting on your face every single day and acting like everything's okay. It's like we've had to address the elephant in the room. And that's terrifying. But you can't get to the better unless you get through that first really scary step of the like hard feelings and the real feelings and the like actually talking through like, what does this look like now? But that doesn't mean that even if you're doing it all the right way and saying like, this is how I feel, that it's going to be interpreted the right way, or that it's not going to be hard, or that it's all going to work out perfectly. But I do think like things are always better said than left unsaid, and finding somewhere to start a conversation is so important, because you have to start somewhere or you get nowhere.
The thing that I think part of that is, I understand what you're saying. I think part of it, you definitely will have communicated things before, but usually we're either yelling or you did, or frustration, or you have all these other emotions that are in some of these conversations by which maybe you think you're addressing the elephant in the room, but you're not doing it in any constructive manner. It's just, you're just slinging stuff and you're throwing different things back and forth and there's no productivity. I think the difference is, and that's the hardest part, I think, and for men, is just to be like, you know, whether it's admitting some wrongs, or here's how I don't know why I can't do this, or I don't know why I'm struggling, whatever it is, when you lay it bare, your partner, it is scary, I imagine. I imagine your partners would not necessarily always react that well. And especially if they're not in the exact same space and it's a surprise to them. But if you're feeling in a space where you are unhappy, or you don't think this is the right spot for you, or you don't know what happened, or you wish it was different, or whatever, it is untenable. At some point, it's going to manifest itself in a way that you don't want it to do, that's not constructive, that's not helpful, that's full of anger, or full of rage, or a huge mistake made, or an emotional outburst elsewhere. You don't know what's going to happen. The best chance you can have, I feel like, and I'm speaking from experience of not doing it the right way, just say, you know, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling, and I would love for us to find a way to fix this, and I don't know how. And talk about how you feel, and then of course ask the questions like, where are you at? Where do you feel? And try to keep it very much in that space. And maybe if you can just strip it down to there, like now we both feel like we have a problem, and we both want to solve it. If that's the case, then you can try to take the steps to do that, whether that's just together, therapy, individual therapy, couples therapy, whatever it may matter, whatever it is, but both people being aligned that they want to try to figure this thing out. And let's be real. Obviously, that doesn't always work. Mm-hmm. Like part of your answer may be like, especially if the other person throws it right back in your face, or the therapy doesn't work. You realize as you're going through this journey that this is not the right thing, and you would be better off apart. Obviously, for me too, that is a real outcome. And that's a really hard outcome in its own right. And that's hard for many different reasons. But kind of what you just said, if you don't go through the hard, there's no way to get to the better. Mm-hmm. And the better can be together, and the better could be apart with the current partner.
It's like what we said earlier about the lows make the highs better, and it gives you that perspective, and you can't realize how good things are without some of the bad and going through it. This is probably also where if we had like a little lawyer spiel or something, we'd be like, we are not lawyers. This is unsolicited advice. And please, this is what we think, feel, and have emotions about. Do not act accordingly and use your best judgment.
You do know in today's world right now, everybody's an expert in everything. Venezuela, oil refineries, relationships. You can say whatever you want in today's world, and there seems to be no blowback. So there you go.
I don't know about that, but
really,
yeah, no blowback all the time. Wait, what? Before we...
As an expert, I mean, you can portray yourself as an expert, and there's never a problem if you're wrong.
Got it. Do you want to talk about what an athlete you are, real quick?
Before we do that, can I give you a couple flowers first? Sure. Yeah, you love that. You look concerned. Curious. We didn't touch at all on New Year's. You weren't here on New Year's. We did in the last pod. You would be gone. So you were doing the game. Leah and I were here. Leah was so excited to make it to midnight, and she did.
Cannot believe it.
But we started at 7 o'clock. London. The London New Year's. So it was 5 hours ahead. They had fireworks there. That's where we turned on the TV. She got so excited. She was so enthralled by it. The nuns at 9 o'clock in Rio were awesome and really cool on the beach. And I'm telling her about Brazil and all these different things. And then our working our way to midnight. Where you make our lives so much better is all the things you do that are little and small that make a huge difference. Like you got the kazoos and the little hats, stuff that I would never do. She was so happy with it. And it changes the day. You buy the matching pajamas. She loves, and he does too, the matching pajamas. Yesterday was maybe the first day he recognized her and Lyra. That's the same ones, and he would say, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Because they have the same pajamas. He likes, those little things that I imagine most men don't typically think about, go a long way, especially for like making those memories. And there's like core moments, and then a couple pictures we have from that too. So thank you for that. And you weren't even here, and you thought about it, and it helped make our night. So
good.
Thank you.
Good. I appreciate that. Is now a good time to tell you that I had also in the closet a sign that said New Year's Eve for you to hang on the wall, and you didn't see it. You forgot to put that up.
Did it say 2026 on it?
Good question.
Perfect.
Let's
go. Run that bang back, girl.
I was even going to tell you, I just put it in the box with all the Christmas stuff, and I was like, but I didn't even think about it. If it had a year on it, it may. Who knows? Did the hats?
No.
Perfect. We're going to run those back next year, too.
I think I put the kazoo. I thought I meant to tell you where I put those.
I put them with all our Christmas stuff.
Boom.
So
there you go.
They're up there ready for next year. Good. I'm glad that was special. It was special to get to talk to you guys and do the midnight countdown with you, even though I was only at 11 o'clock where I was. I think I told Lyra, I was like, okay, I'll call you guys after the ball drops. And she's like, you don't want to do the countdown with us? And I was like, okay, if you're really going to be awake, I'll do the countdown.
12:02 though. Daddy, I'm tired.
It literally, immediately, we were still on FaceTime, and then she goes, I'm so tired. I have a photo of her laying on your shoulder that I was screenshotting when it's like her smiling all big, and then the next one is like, oh my god, I did it. My little body's so tired, put me to bed, and then she slept late the next day.
So that was good.
Thank you. I'm glad that you guys had fun. I obviously wish that I would have been here to celebrate, but so I just think the little things go a long way sometimes.
They do. Doesn't mean that I'm going to do them, so thank you for doing them. Continue to do them.
A little thing does go a long way sometimes, like a game-winning attempt at a field goal.
Yeah.
Do you want to get this off your chest?
Yeah, the Steelers won against the Ravens. I don't know what the problem is. They won the last second missed field goal by little Nick Loop, and we celebrated accordingly. What do you mean? We're going to the playoffs Monday night, Houston's.
Were you face down on the ground, sober?
All right. So here's what happened. Let's just assess what happened. Okay, it's the biggest rivalry in the NFL. It's the Steelers. It's the Ravens. The game was insane. You slept through the whole second half. I don't know how, because I'm screaming left and right. And you did wake up for the final 2 minutes where everything came to a culmination.
I thought that I needed to be supportive once I saw the score.
It was big. We go up with a touchdown, miss the extra point. Boswell, one of the most reliable kickers in the league. Awesome, has won Steelers so many games.
Idiot.
I was like heartbroken for him. I'm like, please, don't let this be Boswell. Please don't let this be Boswell. Who I did want it to be? Little Nicky Loop. The little rookie.
Mr. Loop.
They got him a 44-yard field goal, 2-point game. I was so excited to see him miss that thing. But in my heart, I thought, this isn't really going to happen. I didn't quite move the stuff out of my feet, and I didn't know the emotion that was going to take over. And I just launched out. And when I saw that thing drifting right, I got really excited. And it wasn't my most graceful performance. I went down pretty hard.
You did go down really hard. It did get me up off the couch. I sat up and I'm like...
I was trying to run around the house.
Are you okay?
I was trying to run around the house, but when I got up, my feet got clipped, and then
like
I just...
Jace with a pair of, like, non-sticky socks on.
I'm like Leary. I served down like a sack of potatoes.
My biggest regret is that we didn't move the living room camera after we took the Christmas tree down. Because usually that part, like, all I can see is you get up, and then I hear the thud. And then you see me, like, look up and look down at you on the ground and ask if you're okay. You do eventually come over, and once you come off your high, you say, I think I broke my toe.
They hurt, all right? And that's, I was so thankful when you ran away, had this, you're still laughing, you pull up the Simply Safe app, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be on camera. And when we saw the first shot, I'm like, I don't think it's going to make it in that corner. It's great. Because it wasn't just the fall. It was probably my most unathletic fall of all time. Like, my feet got crossed, and I, like, somehow was tumbling this way, and I went down onto my back. Like, someone landed on my back. Kind of laid there like a turtle and laughed for a couple seconds, and then got up.
You sounded like a sack of potatoes hitting the ground, so...
Yeah, it's great. And my toe was not broken. We were okay.
Congrats to the Steelers and the Panthers.
Yeah, at 8-9. Got your boys in there. Good luck.
In.
They are 10-point underdogs in that game, just so you know.
At home, hosting.
It's going to go well, I know. Now, granted, hey, Seattle Seahawks were 7-9. It was probably 10 or 12 years ago, beast mode. They were big underdogs. They won that game. I think they won the next game. You know, anything can happen once you're in the
Young, baby.
at home.
The Panthers, let's go.
There you go.
We'll see if Charlotte's...
Yeah, huge Panther fan. All of a sudden.
I am, yeah. Very huge Panthers fan.
Thanks for sharing that with everybody. It's good.
You're welcome. I'm obviously going to pull up what I can of the video, which is why I wanted you to share that. Do you have anything for the good before we go? You want me to just start asking you beforehand, or just...
Well, a part of it was actually, that's how I got on the Tony thing, honestly, was thinking about the good before we go. Well, I was getting my haircut earlier today, and then being like, I think this is a bigger thing. Like, I love that concept of, like we already went through, and I think those guys that invented that, it's almost like doing the world a bit of a service. You've given us a throwback. You've given us a different feeling and a different outlet, obviously, to make a product and a profit.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it.
Okay. Well, the Tony's is good. This is a quote that I was telling you about earlier that I saw somebody post saying, "It's wild to think there's only a tiny sliver of life when everyone you love is alive at the same time, right alongside you. The ones who held you and the ones you now hold. If you're in that season, you're living inside something precious. Let that sink in." And, yeah, when I saw that, it hit me. I saved it because, you know, it is fleeting, and I think about you, and obviously, like, you don't have all parts of that with your dad, being able to be here and meet the kids, but to think that, like, you know, when we look around at Christmas and, you know, see your mom and Fred and your brothers and their family when we were there, or at my house with my parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and sisters and everything, that you know, you never know how many of those that were given, and such a blessing to have kids and get to experience that and go through these different generations, or go through it with different generations of family, and it's special.
Yeah, it is. And you reading that, I'm not surprised that it hit a note for you. Like, you are in that season. which is pretty, not entirely. I know your grandparents on your father's side aren't here. That's like hard, like to have it all. It is a sliver of time, if anybody gets to have that. Which again makes you appreciate the times that were had with all or most of those people around. But yeah, I mean, I think that hits me differently. It makes me appreciate it, but it bums me out at the same time, obviously.
Yeah, because you don't have that full sliver. You've got a sliver of the sliver.
Yeah, and I think I've said this before, like I saw, you'd probably look at it when we go to my mom's house, but there's a picture of the 6 grandkids that my dad's holding, and the last one he has is Brooke, who's now 14. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest thing. It's like, and I think of this too, because I never knew his dad or his mom. And to me, that was just like, he may have mentioned him at times, and his relationship with his parents were way different. He was raised by his grandparents. So it's not like he was sitting there regaling me with how great they were at times. There may be lessons learned of what not to do at times. But for me, it's me telling Lear about these things that he taught me, or all these good things, and she's never gonna, and I was thinking about her being 30 years old, and being somebody asked me, well, I never knew my grandpa. And then you just move on. Like, you just buzz right by that. And he's such a huge part of me, and I want to make him somehow like instilled in her. And I think I will, because of who I am, I get that. But I don't know if she'll ever make that connection. You know, it's different when Dace gets to be with your dad and be with Grumpy, and he'll have his own memories and own experiences and own things he learned for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. And that's part of that sliver, is having all those things line up together. But she'll never have that. And that's one of the saddest parts. Not the fact that he'll never know her or hold her. It's like, he who talks so much about having impact on people's lives will have no direct impact in her mind. Mm-hmm. Like, that's hard. And that's like that fleeting, because I said the same thing. Well, I didn't know my grandparents on my dad's side. And you just blow right by it. Mm-hmm. And that's different if the people that raised you were those people and were that impactful in your life. And so I guess part of my mission is to make her maybe not say that. Maybe feel it more. I don't know if you can do that. I think it's kind of impossible, but I guess we'll try.
It just circles back probably to what we said at the beginning, is you don't necessarily have the perspective until you get older and you've lived it in a different way. Okay. I don't think it is a reflection of you, if she doesn't fully grasp it. I think it's just the way that life goes. But that doesn't mean that she won't. And I do think, like you said, I think she knows him through you and through different things that you say and do and instill.
You know what's funny about that? Like, the one thing she remembers all the time, because he had huge hands. She talks about how big his hands were all the time. Like, she saw them. Like, it's really cute. Like, she'll bring up, like, you had big hands. Your daddy had big hands. He did.
I remember her saying that.
He had really big hands. That's true. And there were a couple of, she mentioned something the other day. I said something about who like that? And she's like, your daddy? And I was like, yeah. And so maybe there is more hope than I just laid out there. The things she'll remember. Like, she'll remember little things or carry things on that she never got to experience, but maybe that she'll remember and care about.
We'll find ways to do it.
Yeah.
All right. We hit a lot. We covered a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Hopefully something that we said hit home with somebody listening, and you feel led to have those conversations and share your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, and share the podcast with somebody else that maybe it could open the door for, or give a laugh if you want a picture.
I was to say, or if nothing else,
down like a sack of potatoes.
You've celebrated a win before and broke a finger or a digit. It's okay. I'm not judging. Or a toe.
Or if you're a serial killer who raw dogs your ride home.
Jesus.
Let me know I'm not alone.
On that note, see you next week.